This is what I'm going to start today. You observe here. I'll just brush up your memory for design of beams. Just observe. Now this is some pages I have taken from IS 800 here. Whatever is required for to understand today's topic, some pages I have taken, specific pages. Okay. Now see this one here. This is just a revision of a beam design in steel structures. Observe here. Now, how you design a beam? The simple question is how you design a beam. What are the things that you need? Whether it is RCC or steel, how it is designed. Now observe here. I will show you how a beam is to be designed. It is common to both RCC as well as steel. What is there in your this one you observe here? Now just observe how the question here is. The question is how you design a beam. I'm not telling you whether it is RCC or steel, how it is designed. You should the answer should be common to both steel as well as RCC structures. How to do that one? Observe here. Now what is done here is just observe this. A common, I'm taking one common theory for both RCC as well as steel. How you design a beam is the question. How you design a beam. Now observe here. I'm trying to use one new this one here. Then I will write moment of resistance. Then I will write here shear force. Then I will write shear capacity. Observe this one. The question asked to you is how you design a beam, whether it is steel or RCC. Now, as you see here, the beam is basically a member which is subjected to transverse loading like this, maybe UDL plus point load, something like that. So for the sake of simplicity, a simply supported beam is used. Okay. So here, now this beam has to resist bending moment. How the beam resists bending moment? By developing what is called as moment of resistance. So how we calculate bending moment? Bending moment is calculated based on the external loading. So if, for example, if it is a simply supported beam subjected to UDL, it will be WL square by 8. You can see this WL square by 8 is bending moment. Okay. Now how you find out moment of resistance? Because moment of resistance has to be more or equal to bending moment. This is how the concept of beam design is carried out, whether it is RCC or steel. Now, how do you find moment of resistance? Because as I told you, let us say the bending moment is WL square by 8. Whether this beam is it strong enough? Is it strong enough to carry this much of bending moment or not? How you decide? How you decide that this beam is capable of resisting WL square by 8, let us say, which is, let us say, 100 kN meter. Okay. Some load is there, some span is there. WL square by 8, I am getting it as 100 kN meter. Now, how do you say that this beam is going to resist this much of bending? On what basis you will say like that? On the basis that I will find out moment of resistance. After finding the moment of resistance, that value is compared with 100 kN meter. If this value is equal to or more than 100 kN, then I will say this beam is safe in resisting the bending moment. The question is how to find out moment of resistance of a beam. Irrespective of steel or RCC, I am explaining. Try to understand. Now, how do you find moment of resistance? In general, how do you find it? Which formula you are going to use? Now I'll try here. This one I'll try using this one more pad I'm having. See this one. Moment, that's moment of resistance equal to sigma z. Are you understanding what I'm telling? Moment of resistance is equal to sigma z. Bending moment depends upon the loading condition and boundary conditions. Here the boundary conditions are, it is a simply supported beam. Loading is UDL. So M is equal to WL square by 8. Okay. Now this is how I calculate bending moment. Now my job is to find out moment of resistance. As you know, it is, you can see this one here. You can see this particular formula which is written here, sigma z. Now it means the moment of resistance of a beam depends upon its bending stress and the cross-sectional property, which is section modulus. Whether it is steel or RCC, the theory remains same. Try to understand. It means I should calculate M is equal to sigma Z. Okay, Z is section modulus. It is a geometrical property. Stress is related to the type of material. This value will be higher for steel, lower for timber, in between for concrete. Neither more nor high, like that. It means moment of resistance of a beam depends on okay, the type of material and the type of cross section, because it is a geometrical property. So this is how the beam must be designed. Based on these two conditions, I should be able to find out the cross section dimensions and all that. Ultimately my job is to decide the type of material and what should be the shape of the cross section. In case of RCC, the shape of cross section is rectangular. In case of steel, the shape of cross section is high section. Am I audible to all of you? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Audible, no? Okay. Now this is what is the main basic concept of design. Now next is it should be safe in shear force also. It should be safe in shear force also. One is, now once I know that the moment of resistance is more than the bending moment, I can say that it is safe in bending. It is safe in bending. Is it safe in shear force? How to decide that one? Is it safe in shear force? Now I'll calculate the shear force here, which is WL by 2. Shear force is equal to WL by 2, which acts at the supports in case of UDL. Now if I write WL by 2 and if I calculate this one, because I know this is the maximum shear force which occurs near the supports, how do I say that this beam is safe in resisting shear? How I can say like that? On what basis I can say? On the basis that I should find out shear capacity. I should find out the shear capacity. The way I calculated moment of resistance, which has to be more than or equal to bending moment. Similarly, I should calculate shear capacity, which should be either more or equal to shear force. Then only I'll say that, then only I can say it is safe in shear. Okay, any questions here? This is a generally accepted or general formula, general concept of design of beams, whether it is steel or concrete. Now, how do you find shear capacity? Here, shear force depends upon the boundary conditions and pattern of loading. For example, as I told you, if it is simply supported UDL, it is WL by 2. Similarly, I can calculate by analysis, by any analysis method. If it is a portal frame or it is a multi-story frame, again, I can use some methods like moment distribution method, Connie's method, like that. I can use different methods and I can find out the shear force values. Okay. So it means shear force depends upon the type and boundary conditions, type of load and boundary conditions. But shear capacity, there is no such formula here. We have to use the code book for finding shear capacity of the given section. So once the section I section is decided, using the code book equations, I should find out shear capacity. Then compare this shear capacity with WL by 2. So once I find that shear capacity is much more higher than the shear force, I will say that the design is safe in shearing. This is the very basic concept of design. Now, as you know, usually what is done? Usually, what we do here is usually rectangular section is used in RCC buildings. I section is used in case of steel structures. You will come to know why it is like that. So I'll go to the first page. Design steps I will explain. Observe here. Any questions here? Anybody has any questions to ask? See, in the design, what I have done is I have calculated 4 parameters. One is bending moment, which depends upon external loading. One more is moment of resistance, which depends upon type of material and section modulus. M is equal to sigma Z. Sigma, you can use F also. In some books, they are using small f. It can be sigma or small f, whatever. So these are the 2 parameters I have to calculate, and I must check whether the moment of resistance is more than bending moment or not. These are the 2 parameters. Next is shear force and shear capacity. Shear force again depends upon the loading. Shear capacity formula I have to search in the code book. Use that formula in the code book, then accordingly substitute the values, find the shear capacity, and that value you compare with shear force. Shear capacity has to be more than shear force. Once this happens, the beam is safe. The beam is safe. Then you have to go for check for deflection and all those things. Checking is different. First, deciding the section and all and finding the bending moment of this is a major part. Then you have to go for checks. So this is how you can understand this particular basics of beam design, whether it is steel or concrete. Now observe here. Now what I will do is I'll just remove this one here. Then I'll explain the steps in steel beam design. Just 1 second. Hello. Now I'll remove this one and I'll start explaining your this one here. I will explain this. Observe this one here. First step you observe here. First step you observe. Steps you observe here. Can you read this one? Step 1, load calculations. Are you able to see this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Or you want me to magnify this one further?
Yes, sir. We can see, sir.
Okay. Anyway, I'll just magnify it. Observe here. Now I have started steps in the design of a beam, steel beam. Steps in the design of a steel beam. Carefully understand this one. All of you type your USN. I'll take attendance today physically. Type your USN and division. Name USN and division in chat box. Just type your name, USN and division. Now let us observe here how the beam is designed. It is a basic thing I am telling you. Basic explanation is there. Now observe here. First load calculation is done depending upon size of the room, etc. How many beams are there inside. Depending upon the room size and configuration, I can find out the loads here. Then bending moment means I have to decide the span and all that load. Then find out bending moment and ZP. Observe this one. ZP has to be calculated. I'll tell you how it is done. Assume beta B is equal to 1. See, when I say assume beta B is equal to 1, I'm going to assume the section as plastic. I'll tell you what are the different options here. Beta B should be initially assumed as 1 in that formula. I'll show you that one. Using the value of ZP calculated, choose a trial I section referring steel tables and note down its properties and further classify the section. I'll show you that one. I'll design it. Check the design for bending strength. Check for shear and deflection. Check for web buckling and web crippling. Remember, we are going to do the same thing for plate girders also. Directly, I cannot start plate girder unless you know these basics. Okay. Now, what I have done, observe here. What I was telling you here is moment of resistance M is equal to sigma into Z. Okay. Now I can find out M. How I can find out M separately is it is maximum bending moment. I'll use that one. For example, WL square by 8. So M is equal to sigma Z. In that one, M is WL square by 8. That value I will get it. It is equated to sigma into Z. Okay, sigma is fixed for a given material. Z will be calculated. This is the basics of strength of materials. Same thing is done here. Same thing with slight modifications. Finally, the formula is M is equal to sigma Z only. Z is calculated. Once you know the section modulus, I can easily find out the dimensions, or I can go to the steel table and start searching for the section modulus value. Always a ZP should be checked. ZP, which is available in IS 800. I don't know whether in the new editions of steel tables, whether ZP values are there or not. You just check it. Get the new edition, because IS 800 ZP values are there. I'll show you where it is available. A room measuring 7 meter by 10 meter consists of 120 mm thick RCC slab supported on steel beams as shown. Observe here. My job is to design a steel beam now. Wall thickness is 0.3 meter. Wall thickness is 0.3 meter. Size inside dimensions are 10 by 7. See, it's 10 meter by 7 meter. Now these are the lines, whatever I'm showing here. These are the beams which I'm supposed to design. So here what I will do, I'll design the most critical one. So this one or this one, any because spacing is same. You can consider any one of these. Any one of these can be considered. For example, see here. You observe this one. You can consider this one or this. Why I'm telling this one is spacing is same. If the spacing was different, then you have to search for the critical section. Now, what will happen to this beam? Observe here. This, let us say this beam is taken. Same sections are used for remaining two beams also. Same sections are used. Now, how do you calculate the load here? This is the plan actually. Slab will be resting on this particular room, and the load of the slab is carried by these beams, and these beams will transfer the load of the slab to the walls this side and this side. Now how the load is calculated is how much load this beam will take now. This beam is supposed to carry, observe this beam is supposed to carry the load coming from this part. Just observe this portion and this portion. Just observe this. So this part, whatever is there in this area, in this portion, so this is the, see, this beam is responsible for this much of load coming on the slab, dead load of the slab, as well as whatever live load comes on this area, that will be transferred to this beam. In this way, we have to decide. Similarly, this side, if you come, 50% of this panel, 50% of this panel will be the load shared by this beam. Is it clear what I'm telling? Similarly, this side. Okay. The critical section is somewhere I can select any one of these beams and design. I have selected this beam. Now observe here. Observe this one. Observe this one here. So this is what I'm going to design. I'm going to design this beam. I'll go to the next page. So this is, see, this is again, I have taken all the loads are calculated here. What I have done is I have simplified this one. It is some other, this one here. Simplified problem I have taken now. How the load is calculated, I explained in case room is given. Now observe here, let us solve, see, let us design this problem completely now. Design a simply supported beam span 5 meters capable of providing lateral restraint. Laterally restrained beam. Just observe this. Laterally, see this one. Lateral restraint. Laterally restrained beam, I'll tell you in very short. What do you mean by laterally unrestrained and laterally restrained beam means what? Laterally restrained means the compression zone is inside. Compression zone is firmly inside the concrete. That's one example. If you want, I'll draw that figure. Observe here. Just see laterally restrained. Just observe this. What do you mean by laterally restrained? This is an I section, for example. If this flange is inside the concrete slab, this is a slab here. Observe this. One example of laterally restrained means the compression flange is firmly embedded inside the concrete. This is one example of laterally restrained. In the syllabus of 6th semester, beams which were laterally restrained only we considered. Laterally unrestrained was not there in the syllabus. So I'm going to start with laterally restrained only. Our assumption is compression zone is not allowed to move here and there. There is no lateral movement of, laterally restrained means what? There is no lateral movement of the compression flange. This is the compression flange. This is a tension flange below. It is a simply supported beam. So that is, now we are going to design only laterally restrained beams. To the lateral restrained to the compression flange. Beam is subjected to a dead load of 20 kN excluding the self weight and imposed load of 30 kN per meter. Assume Fe415 steel. Okay. So I'll explain this. Observe here. What I'm doing is, so first of all, you look at this formula here. Initially, you don't worry about this. You look at this formula. Actually, I should find out the bending moment first, WL square by 8. Then I should use this formula. But what I have, why I have written here, observe here. Since the steel beams are designed on plastic analysis, that is why ZP, plastic section modulus, must be calculated. Okay. So the question is, how do you say that? How do you say that steel beams are designed on plastic theory and not limit state? Try to understand. RCC beams are designed on the basis of limit state. Steel beams are designed on the basis of plastic theory. How do you say that? How I am saying like this is because I am finding ZP. I'm not finding ZE. I'm not going to use elastic section modulus in the design. I'm going to use plastic section modulus. That is why the beam, steel beams are designed as based on plastic theory. Now observe here, just observe this. This formula is strength of material formula only. Moment of resistance is equal to sigma into Z. You can see this. Moment of resistance is equal to sigma, that is Fy means sigma only, sorry, into Z. Here F sigma is taken as Fy, yield strength of steel, into section modulus of the given cross section. We have to actually find out ZP here. You'll come to know that. You'll be knowing this Fy, you'll be knowing gamma M naught, that is partial safety factor for steel. Then you will be using this M, you will be equating moment of resistance with bending moment. It means I'm going to use this formula. Before this, I will find the bending moment, factored bending moment. So factored bending moment is equal to, I'm going to assume like that, factored bending moment is equal to moment of resistance. That is why I'm going to substitute for M here. This M is actually moment of resistance, but I'm equating them. Now observe here, observe this one. Now the dead load is given as 20 kN per meter. Assume dead load of I section. I think I have done some minor correction is there here. Subjected to imposed load, it is imposed load actually. Anyway, imposed load you consider, live load you can take. So here 20, assume dead load of I section. Self weight of I section is taken as 0.8. How I can assume like this? If you see the steel tables, most of the I sections they are in this range only. Somebody can assume 1 kN per meter also. There is no problem in that. So normally what I have taken an I section approximately for 1 meter length of an I section, the weight is 0.8 kN. In this way, I calculated it. Imposed load is 30, dead load is given, dead load of slab and all is given, imposed is 30. Okay. So total is 50.8 multiplied by 1.5 to get factored load. So 76.2. Okay. Any questions in this? Just load calculation is done. Dead is given. Dead is maybe due to slab and all 20. Self weight is this. Imposed load is 30. Live load is 30 kN per meter. Finally, I got factored load or design load. Sorry, design load. Then 76.2 is the WU. Now observe here what I will do. Simply I will find WL square by 8. WL square by 8. Therefore, factored BM is WL square by 8. Span was given as 5 meters. So 238.12. Okay. So 238.12 into 10 raised to 6 Newton M. Convert it into Newton M. Next, once you do this, now I have to use a formula because this is bending moment. It must be equated with moment of resistance. Where is the moment of resistance formula? It is there in the code book. Page number 53 IS 800. You open that page number. I'm having all those pages here. Then assuming a plastic section, observe here, this formula is same as strength of materials. Try to understand. It is not a tough equation or anything like that. Simple equation is there. Moment of resistance equal to sigma z. From strength of material, what I know, moment of resistance is equal to sigma into z. Okay. Here, since it is steel structure subject, I am going to design it by plastic theory. In place of z, I am writing zp. So when you start designing, when you move from analysis to design, strength of material is analysis subject actually. In strength of materials, what formula you have studied? Moment of resistance is a product of bending stress into section modulus. That much you know from strength of materials. It is a product of bending stress Fy into section modulus Z or sigma into Z. Only thing that is extra here is beta B and gamma M naught. Because in design, we have to include these three, whether the section is plastic or compact or what. So based on that, I'll show that page also. So here the formula is just modified. It is available in page number 53. So beta B by gamma M naught. Only these two terms you can see are extra from strength of material, whatever we studied. These two terms are extra, that's it. Because it is a design subject. It is not an analysis subject. So I cannot use sigma, I cannot use Fy directly. I have to divide this by some partial safety factor. Because Fy is not available at the site. There are so many problems are there at the site, or there may be material imperfection, or the center line may be slightly, there may be error in the workmanship mistakes may be there, material imperfection may be there, site conditions may not be good. Considering all those things, I know that Fy I cannot achieve at the site. So I have to reduce this by some number, that is partial safety factor. This is all there. Now beta B is introduced. Gamma naught why it is introduced, I explained. Beta B, whether the section is compact or semi plastic or what. That classification I will not be knowing. Before the section is selected, I cannot tell you whether the section is plastic or compact or whatever. That is why what I will do, I'll use this beta B depending upon whether it is compact or what. This value is decided. But initially, since I don't know, because I don't know the cross section dimensions, I will assume it as 1. See this, as section is assumed is plastic. I'm going to assume that the section is plastic and not compact. Initially, I have to assume like that only. So what I will do here, assuming section as plastic, for plastic sections, beta B is equal to 1. So I'll substitute 1. Any questions here? Okay. Now on LHS, what I have done, moment of resistance is equal to bending moment I have taken, which is 238.12 into 10 raised to 6, which is WL square by 8. Okay. So this is equal to 1, that is beta B. ZP is to be calculated here. 250 is Fy, then 1.1. Observe here, it is not 415, don't get confused here. It is 250. Yield stress is taken. Okay, yield stress of steel is taken, not ultimate stress. So this is yield stress 250 divided by 1.1. Okay, from this one, what I got here, ZP. ZP is 1047.72 into 10 raised to 3 from this equation. Ultimately, you have to find ZP, start searching in the IS 800. Okay, whichever I section that is giving you ZP very close to this number or slightly higher than this, that corresponding I section should be selected. Observe here. What I'm doing here, observe here. Now what I will do is in the step number 1, ZP is calculated. How I calculated? I equated moment of resistance with bending moment. In that way, I found out ZP. Now referring IS 800 Annexure H page 138. Now what I did was I started searching for ZP in I sections. In I sections, because in steel tables ZE values are there. Try to understand. Elastic modulus values are given in steel tables book. So you have to go for Annexure H of page 130. Don't try to search if you are having old edition of steel tables. I don't know whether in new edition whether they have given it or not. I don't know because I am referring IS 800 only for ZP calculations. So referring IS 800 Annexure H page 138 I referred. In that one, I started searching for ZP 1047.7 or any value which is very close to this. No value was available which was very close to this. I went to the next nearest higher value. So I found out that the value was 1533.36. This section is available. It means there is no I section whose ZP is in between these two values, whose ZP value is in between 1047.72 and 1533.36. You can search that. There will not be any I section whose value is more than this, less than this. I started searching for ZP or any I section which has higher value than this. Next higher number was in steel table was this. Okay, so this is after searching for this number, I found out that this value corresponds to ISMB 450 at 72.4 kg meter. Now observe here. Observe here. I assumed 0.8. I assumed dead weight initially in the design first step. I assumed 0.8. Here it is 0.724. So there is no problem. Assumed dead weight was 0.8, which is slightly higher. From that higher value only bending moment is calculated. It means you are on the safer side only. So now this is 0.724 Newton kN meter. It is. Now ZP is 1533.36. ZE. You see this ZE means elastic section modulus. This is required later on. I'll tell you. ZP is important. ZP has to be more than whatever ZP required. Then all other dimensions are noted here like this. H 450. This is 450. BF 150. Width of the flange 150. TW thickness of web 9.4. See here 9.4. I think you are able to see this, isn't it? 9.4 is here. This is thickness of the web. Thickness of flange is here. This one is the thickness of flange 17.4. Then IZ means nothing but IXS actually. IZ is corresponding to this line. So in steel structures, you may be knowing that. You may be knowing one thing. This line. So if I draw horizontal line here, this is called as Z axis in steel structures. This is Z. Okay. That is why IZ is 30390.8. All these values are noted from the steel tables except ZP. Once ISMB 450 is fixed, you can refer steel tables also. ZP will not be available actually in steel tables. So outstand of flange, B is equal to outstand of flange. What is outstand here? Observe carefully. Otherwise, you will not follow plate girder. I am telling you. If you don't follow this one, you cannot understand plate girders. See this one. This is outstand B. So which is BF by 2. See this. B is equal to BF by 2, 150 by 2. Because from the center line, I should calculate B. This is B. Okay. Next. It is 75 mm, 150 by 2. R1 radius at the root. This, see this. Carefully observe this one. Radius of the root. Radius at the root. There is one circular portion is there here, this side, at all four places, at top also, here also. We should know the radius of that, which is called as R1. So R1 is already noted from the steel table. So 15 mm, radius at the root is 15 mm. This distance, that is this radius of this curve is 15 mm. Clear depth D. Because I need the values of D and B before I use that table in steel tables. I mean IS4. I mean IS 800. I need to calculate here. Observe. I need to calculate this one and this one. You have to understand these two properly. Then only you will decide whether the section is plastic or semi-compact or whatever. Okay. Let us see that one. B you try to understand. B is nothing but BF by 2. D calculation, for D calculation, I need R and all those things. Now observe here. I'll just expand and I'll show you what is D actually. How to find D. Observe here. D means this curved portion here, you should leave that one. And in both the places, remaining height. I'll use some other ink here. Observe here. Okay. I'll use this one. What is D here? This is D. This one is D. Are you following this one? Is it clear this one? What is D? Okay, I'll show it here. Observe. What is D? I'll show it here. For that one, I should start, I think, annotation. Observe here. What exactly I mean by D? Observe here. I'll draw this I section. Just observe this. Slightly it is curved actually. Not able to do that one. Just observe this. So this is you see this one. This is H. This is H actually, which is directly available in the ISMB whatever. Then I want something which is called a small d. I want this height. This height. This is D. In order to decide whether the section is plastic or whatever, see, this is. You have to subtract H minus thickness of this minus radius. So in order to get H, in order to get a small d, observe here, you have to subtract this side flange thickness, this side radius, this side radius you have to subtract, this side flange thickness you have to subtract. Any question here? That is what I have done. Observe here. That is what I have done here. Okay. Now observe here. Because these are important observations. Now D is calculated like this. D is calculated H minus 2TF 2R1. Why it is 2TF 2R1? Because 2 times I have to remove 2R1, R1 this side, R1 this side, 2R1, thickness this side, thickness this side, so 2 times. Observe. H minus 2TF minus 2R1. So 450 is total height H minus 2 into TF, 2 into R1. So finally I got D as 383.2. I think it is 385.2. So then calculate epsilon square root of 250 by Fy. Since the material used Fy value is also 250 only, this is becoming 1. Where it is used, I will show you. Now this is these are the properties. See, ultimately what I have done here, ultimately I am able to find out B and D values, which are used to define whether the section is compact or whatever, or plastic. That I will show you here. Up to this, any problems, any doubts? Only 67 students are there today. Only 67 students are there. It is a revision, but you cannot follow plate girder unless you know these things. Any questions here? Okay, I'll go to the next page here. Observe. Observe here. You have to open the specific page of. You have to see. We have assumed the section is plastic and beta B was 1 we have used. Now I need to check that whether I assumed whether my assumption is okay or not. Just observe this. Just observe this page. I have assumed the section is plastic, correct? Beta B is equal to 1 is taken. When the section is assumed as plastic, this beta B is 1. Now I should check it whether the section is in fact plastic or not. Here it was assumed. Here I am going to check it actually. Which is that page number in IS codebook? Anybody knows it? Which is the page number where I have to calculate all these things, and I should say that it is plastic only, or my assumption is correct. Which is that page? I think you have forgotten many things here. Anyway, I'll just check whether I have it or not in this. Whether I have in fact loaded the table or not, I'm checking. Otherwise, I'll open that codebook only if it is not loaded here. The table is not here. I will open that codebook separately again. No, this is RCC, I think. Okay. Because see, finally the checking of whether in fact whatever we assumed was correct or wrong, because here I have assumed beta B. Now what I am doing, observe, then I'll open that page separately again. Which page it is there, I'll tell you actually. Now what I have done is with B and D calculations, what I have done, you observe here. I calculated B by TF. B by TF. So 75U is B, TF is 17.4. I got 4.31. This value is less than 9.4 epsilon or E. E is 1 here. Huh? As you know that E is equal to what I have done? E is equal to square root of 250. 250 is a constant divided by Fy. Since the material, the whatever steel we have used, that value of that Fy was 250, it is 1 only. So E is 1 here. It means you don't have to worry about E here, it is 1 only. So you can see B by TF. In this problem, it is 4.31, which is less than 9.4. D by TW, D is calculated in the previous step. Already I told you how to calculate it. 385.2 divided by 9.4, it is 40.98. That is why D and B are important. That's why I calculated them. So this is 40.98 less than 84. Less than 84. Hence the section is classified as plastic and whatever beta B we assumed is correct. Now one more parameter is there, D by TW. D by TW 40.98. You can see this is already calculated, which is less than 67. If this condition is satisfied, important observation is this one. If this condition is satisfied here, it means you don't have to check for web buckling. Web buckling will not happen if this condition is satisfied. Okay. Now the next step, I'll try to open this page. Actually, I'm not able to find this in the selected pages of the table is missing, I think, in this. I'll open and I'll show that one. Can anybody tell me which is the page number where I can check whether the section is plastic or what? Anybody has any idea here? Okay, now it is proved that because of these parameters, it is proved that the section is plastic and beta B assumed is correct. So determine the design bending strength. It means once this is done, the design is almost over actually, but I have to check for design bending strength, whether the bending strength is sufficient or not. So before this, what I will do is I'll try to just do one thing here. I'll try to open I don't know, the system has become very slow here. I wanted to show you that table, that's all. I wanted to show you that particular table which you have to refer so that you don't have to remember anything here.
Page number 18, sir.
It is not showing anything here. Page number?
18.
Page number 18, no, yes. I think I have not taken that page in this notes actually. I wanted to just take that page out, but the remaining pages are there. That page is not there. I'll show you that. The problem is, see this, I'm not able to read anything here, which is the folder name is also not appearing. Okay. Now see this one. I'll come back to this later on. See this one. Here you have to refer this one. You have to refer that particular page number 18 table, and you have to decide whether the section was plastic or what. I'll get back to that page again once it is loaded. Now step 3 is determine the design bending strength. Now observe here. What is to be done now? Almost the section is finalized here. Whatever section we have selected here, this section is almost finalized. Which is that section? ISMB 450. Now at this stage, before the remaining steps, Here I have written try, but what I can say right now is almost this section is okay. ISMB 450 is okay. I don't have to revise it. I don't have to revise this section. I don't have to choose one more another ISMB section. This is okay. Pending, pending means some checks are to be done. Now determine the design strength MD. How to find the design strength? Observe here. MD is equal to beta B ZP Fy by gamma M. Same formula. This formula is available in that code book. Huh? Okay. Now substitute all the values. Here ZP means what? ZP means actual ZP for ISMB I should substitute. Not the one which was required. That has to be taken care of. You must take care of this value here. This value. Okay. This ZP is actual ZP of the chosen section. So use that one. You are going to observe that moment is much more higher, 348.49. Whereas bending moment to be resisted is lesser than this. How much is the bending moment to be resisted? 230 238.12 is the bending moment to be resisted, whereas this section is giving me how much? 348, much more higher. So we are totally safe. Then one more is, observe this, one more is, see this one. This is the moment of resistance using plastic theory. This is moment of resistance using elastic theory. Elastic means some slight modification is there. Here, out of this, whichever is smaller, that should be taken as a strength. It means this is ZP, this is ZE, observe here. And one constant has come. In place of beta B, 1.2 has come. This is one more formula it is given in the code book. Find out MD by using both the equations. Whichever is smaller, that will be the strength. Observe here. What I have done here is MD, I am going to use this formula now. Observe this one, 1.2 ZE. Here ZP is used. Huh? From where I got this ZE? From steel table for corresponding IS, that I section, ZP was obtained. Observe here. I have written this once the section was decided. See this one. I don't know whether I have written it here or ZE. See here it is. It is here. ZE is also here. This should be used in the second equation and not this one. This is used for first equation. Observe this. For first equation, ZP to be used. For second equation, ZE is used. There is a difference. In place of 1.2 is written because it is a constant. There it was beta B, here it is 1.2. Like this, we calculate 368.37. Which is more here? Which is less? 348 is less. It means the strength, the bending strength of I section is 348.49 because out of these two, smaller is this. Now this value should be more than the factored bending moment, which is already there. Already it is more than factored bending. If at all, the smaller of these two values is less than the bending moment, that time the design has failed. You have to choose a higher I section, bigger size I section, then you have to design it. Or you should go for extra cover plates. So many things are there. That means, it means after finding these two values, and when you compare smaller of these two values with bending factored bending moment, even in that case the value is less than that, means the design has failed. Design has failed. I have to revise it. Here it is not happening like that. Smaller is 348. Comparing this with factored bending moment, which is 238. Since moment of resistance is higher than the bending moment, the section is safe. Okay. Now check for shear capacity of beam and for deflection. Factored shear force is calculated WL by 2. Simply W into L by 2, 190.5. Now, how do you find the shear capacity? Observe this. Shear capacity. So the shear capacity or design shear strength, this value has to be calculated. FYHT, this is there in the code book. We shall see that one. VD FYHTW root 3 to gamma M. Okay, observe this. Actually, in strength of materials, if you open any textbook there, this formula is already there. Which one? This is there. They are adding this one for design part. In the design, we have to consider these extra things. Now, 250 is FY, H is 450. This is 9.4. So effectively, which area is resisting the shear? The vertical component. Now, this is a very important gate question actually. I will show you that one here. Observe. You observe this figure. Which area of cross section is resisting shear? That is the question. Just observe this. The area which is resisting the shear is this part. Just observe this. How much is the area of this? H into TW. Total is H. What is the area of this rectangle? Shaded. Shaded rectangle is H is the height. TW is the thickness. This is the thickness of web. That is what is there here. See. You can see this. So area resisting shear is this much. H into, that's a, you can say it's a rectangular portion. That much is resisting. It means this outstands, whatever outstands we call them, outstands, they do not participate in resisting shear. They are of no use for resisting shear. So that is what is given in this formula here. Now you find out this value. You find out this value, 555 kN. Now find out one more value, 0.6 times this. 0.6 times this. Only 60% of this should be taken. Point. This is 555. Find out 60% of this, which is 0.6 times this, 333. So 60% of this should be more than the factored shear force. 60% of this value should be more than factored shear force. Observe here. Shear force was 190. 60% of this value is 333. So the shear resistance or shear capacity is 333. It can resist up to 333, whereas it is actually subjected to 190.5. I think you know where I got 190. 190 where I got it. It is WL by 2. Shear force. WL by 2, 190. So this is how you should calculate it. Okay. Next is another 2-3 minutes. I'll continue and stop it. Now last check is deflection check. After this you can stop it. Last step we have reached. Now it is safe in shear, safe in bending moment. Step 3 is all about checking whether the section selected is safe or unsafe, whether I should revise it or what. Then next is it was checked for shear. Okay, 60% of VD should be more than the factored shear force. Maximum deflection is delta max should be less than permissible. Means actual deflection that is taking place should be less than permissible deflection. So maximum deflection delta max for a simply supported beam subjected to UDL. This is the formula. 5 by 384 WL4 by EI. Now one thing you should understand here is this W should not be factored load. It should be service load. Okay. So what I have done to find out this 76.2 was factored load, I divided it by 1.5 because earlier it was multiplied. Now that's nothing but 50.8. 50.8 must be used in this equation. substitute all the values 5 by 384, this one L, E and I. 2 into 10 raised to 5 moment of inertia of the I section, which is there in steel table. Everything is there. Everything is there in the steel table. That means E is, you should remember throughout your life, 2 into 10 raised to 5. This is for the corresponding I section, whatever you have selected. W is small, that is a service load, 6.8 mm. So actual deflection that is happening is 6.8. Now permissible is how much? Permissible should be more than this, L by 300. So L by 300 is 5000, which is span divided by a constant 300. 16.67 mm I should write here. This is mm actually. So up to 16.67 or 16.7 nearly is allowed. I can permit up to this much deflection because permissible deflection is L by 300. So I can permit 16.7, whereas actually it is happening only 6.8. It means deflection is also within the specified limit. Deflection is also within the specified limit because allowable is more than actual deflection. So deflection check is also satisfactory. Okay, this is the end of the design. Any questions here? Because based on this, I am going to start plate girders. If you know the design of plate girder and gantry girder, I can say you are perfect in VTU syllabus of steel structures. Not in other syllabus, gate and all. Gate you have to go further. Okay. Is it clear this one? Once whatever I discussed today, I will upload it, go back and check. Then attend the next class of plate girder. Your real knowledge is tested in, what is that? Plate girder and gantry girders. If somebody says I can design gantry girder, it means he knows 90% of steel structures. Okay. So let us end this class here. Any questions are there? Any questions here? This is the design. I'm going to share this notes. These notes I will share it. You go back and study this one so that plate girder, it will be easy to follow. And also check, see this whatever formula I have given, in which page they are there. Anyway, I'll show it in the next class, but you also check in the steel tables, I mean IS 800. Check these two formula here. This one, these two formula, MD and these two formula are there on the same page. This table is on a different page here. One table is there. I'll just, in the next class, I'll show that one. So only these are the 3 pages you have to refer. One is related to this. One more is related to this. One more is related to this VD calculation. So let us end this class now.